Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Welsh Republic episode number 7 of my podcast. I am here with my guest, Matt Welsh. How are you doing today, Matt?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me on today.
You're welcome. What have you been up to today so far?
Well, I just filmed a drum cover for a friend of mine. His name's Rob. He's in a band called Enigmatico. So I was just going through trying to edit the multicams and put that together. We're going to drop it probably tomorrow.
That sounds really cool. I from checking out your Instagram and your YouTube channel, you're a big musician. You seem to be like an upcoming musician.
Yeah, I've been doing music consistently without ever stopping since I was 15. And, I'm 31 now, so it's been about 16 years.
Wow, you don't look nothing like 31. You look like you're 24, 25.
Hey, I'll take that. Yeah. The part of my
What type of music? What type of music is it mostly?
So the genre is New Age rock. New Age meaning the New Age of Aquarius, and it's rock music. It's very punk influenced as well, pop punk, and that's it. But I'm kind of leading that genre. It's a new genre, New Age rock.
Sounds like a new type of indie rock, like a different. What is the Age of Aquarius? What is the meaning of that?
I'm glad you asked. I founded, created, and organized a website called ageofaquarius.org. And it's a worldwide resource for people to get information about what that means. So if you study time, like the ancients did, the Mayans, etc., they knew that it directly related to astrology and what was going on above. And basically, we just entered the Age of Aquarius, which is a 2,160-year shift in time, in human consciousness. So it's a big deal. It's just a way of kind of observing cycles of time, especially. So it's a new age, it's an air age, and the element behind each zodiac sign of the age that we're in greatly impacts all of human development, experience. So the air age is what we're in, and we can see it playing out all around us.
Especially last night with the blood moon, there's a lot of influence in how does it have a connection with like all of the planets coming together
The
in
Aquarian
line?
age, yes, the Aquarian age does and did. There were definitely massive cosmic alignments that took place, such as the Great Conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. That was in 2020 on the winter solstice, same day. So those phenomenons that happen every X amount of years are great indicators of huge shifts. And yesterday, being the blood moon, eclipse, like a full moon in Scorpio, everything at the same time was just it was powerful. I mean, there was a lot of symbology.
There are some mythologies that like to say whenever like the conjunction happens, like there are creatures that come out, humans go crazy because of the chemical mechanism in our body, how it reacts to it. It reminds me of like The Witcher. Have you seen The Witcher?
Is that a movie? I don't think so.
So in The Witcher, what happens is it's kind of like it's mostly Slavic mythology, but it obviously has some based other mythologies in it. And what happens in the Witcher world, they have like basically like a conjunction of the fears, and that's like, and the Witcher world has more monsters in it and stuff. And what happens is there are like whenever that happens, more monsters come in from another world because in that reality, though it's basically a universe that has planets full of different monsters and creatures and stuff. It's a TV series with Henry Cavill. You've probably heard of it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're definitely not alone. Humans aren't the only game in town, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely not. What mythologies do you like to look up? What is your favorite mythology?
My favorite's probably Greek mythology, but to be honest, I haven't studied too much of mythology as it relates to my spirituality. I know it's relevant, extremely relevant, and fascinating. But I've been especially more focused on more of the worldly, earthly matters of our time. Understanding finance, banking, government, basically all the systems and industries that run the world, and observing where they're going and how it really, how much it really affects us day to day. That's been my focus for quite a while.
How do you think as human beings we can spiritually lift ourselves up from the system that enslaves our mind?
That's a good question. There's a lot of things you can do, but the biggest thing I'm realizing is that you can't really do anything. To think that you can run or hide or outsmart or escape this matrix, so to speak, is an illusion, just like all the other illusions. So no one is going to be able to run or hide from this. This Aquarian age that is upon us is going to affect everyone in every possible way, mind, body, spirit. So it's better to embrace it, right? So to answer your question, how do we embrace it? Well, it's just that. It's to actually seek the truth of the body, mind, spirit connection. And within that, there's 5 sciences based on the 5 elements. I teach all this on ageofaquarius.org. There's with the 5 elements, like earth, fire, air, water, ether.
Do you teach the chakras?
I do teach the chakras. Yeah, my first EP, my first record is based around the 7 chakras. 7 main. There's more than 7 chakras, but there's 7 main chakras from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. And I happen to write a collection of 7 songs, and each one of them completely related to one of the chakras. Not like in a very direct, like literal, lyrical kind of way, but like an energetic way. I was like, oh yeah, this song's about the heart, and that was like the only acoustic track on the record, which was about like surrendering your ego to, to really open your heart more fully. And that just happened. So, yeah, of course, chakras are massive.
With the Age of Aquarius, so a lot of people connect it to like the great awakening of humanity. Do you think that the Age of Aquarius is going to be the age where the New World Order comes crashing down?
Yeah, it is. And I'm glad you asked that because it's supposed to come crashing down. The occultic masters of this whole game, the puppets pulling the puppet strings, they are masters of manifestation of, putting their will into reality. And so everything's hidden in plain sight. If you look at the dollar, it says on there in Latin, and Latin's one of the oldest living languages ever, so the spells are very direct. They're very powerful. They're potent. They're timeless almost. Well, they're in plain sight that they're going to create order out of chaos. So everything that's playing out, the Great Reset, everything, the controlled demolition of the American Empire, it's all a planned chaos and collapse, of which will come order. So I'd like to think that we're winning, that the light is winning, the people are winning, but they're really not. I actually don't think. I think everything's just playing out according to plan. I think that their plan is to crash everything and then reveal themselves, reveal the bad actors, reveal the guys like George Soros and Bill Gates, like these billionaires that are behind all of this.
Carl Slav, Rockefeller, Bilderberg Group, all that.
Yeah. Yes, and to further explain my point is like, guys like us, we're aware of this. It's been part of our Great Awakening, and thank God we're aware of it. But we may have caught on to that before anyone else did because we have critical thinking and we're pursuing it. We're being more vigilant about it. Everyone else in humanity, they're going to find out about it because they're supposed to find out about it. Not because they took responsibility and said something's wrong. Let's get to the bottom of it. No, these occultic masters.
And Matt, let's not forget about the gay frogs that will be revealed.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the frogs. They're turning the frogs gay. I mean, Alex Jones, right? He was another one that was vigilant. He was on top of it. I don't know what. Who knows what guides us? where we got to buy swords.
Oh, David Icke is also another guy that's been. I mean, I disagree with David Icke on quite a few things, but even
Sure.
Alex Jones too. But he definitely is another guy like that has been on top of it for a long, long time. You know,
Oh, yeah.
same with Ron Paul. Ron Paul has also been on top of it. There's been a lot of guys, you know, and as they say, you know, it's just like Noah. You know, Noah in the days of, you know, him, when you had giants, when you had creatures from the Book of Enoch, pretty much to say that the time he lived in was pretty much the time of the giants and the fallen creatures that, you know, basically were made from angels mating with humans.
Humans, right.
It, Noah is pretty much the original, you know, whether you believe in Noah's Ark, was pretty much the original conspiracy theorist. And eventually, whether it will be a big flood, whether it will be some kind of destruction, humanity will wake up. And I think maybe I disagree with you on the thing about humanity not being able to wake up to the point, but I think the chaos theory, especially the social credit score, personally, I don't think everybody's going to accept it. I think the social credit score is going to cause so much chaos. Like, for instance, dude, look at the vaccine passports. The vaccine passports caused a lot of chaos, a lot of issue. And I think as soon as the social credit score comes in, if it does or not, people are going to riot. People are not going to tolerate it anymore, dude. I think that's going to be it. Because if you look at a lot of European-based cultures, they're not going to accept it.
100%. You know, but to me, that's still all part of the plan, because the moral of the story is that once humanity learns that they've been duped and that, you know, these people are behind it, they find out who they are, what they did, maybe justice will be served. But at the end of the day, they're going to be served a solution on a golden platter with leaders, you know, that are already pre-selected for this job. And the whole new system and all that leadership and everything behind it will very likely be the same dark masters from the Piscean.
Oh, the West is done. The West is done. I mean, well, I'm not saying all of the West is done. I still think Poland and Hungary are still very good. You and me may disagree with Russia. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm actually, I do actually think Russia's on the good side. It's okay if you disagree with me. The countries that I think are against the elite are Russia, Belarus, Bolivia, Poland, Hungary. Rwanda is another one that's very good. So yeah, I mean, there's other countries too, but I think unfortunately these countries are the only countries that really have governments who are speaking out against them. And yeah, I mean, speaking out against the elite. And yeah,
Yeah, I'm hesitant that, you know, they might be controlled opposition, or meaning that like they intentionally do things that make them look like they're against the elite, against the new world order, globalization, colonialism, basically is what it is. But I find it hard to believe that anyone, even Mexico, is not part of the cabal. I mean, to me, everyone's compromised. The only way forward is it's going to have to be like maybe separation, and then communities coming together, figuring things out on their own. I personally, I find it hard to trust any government or leader that currently exists.
that's okay, man. That's all good.
I wish I could. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic overall, but I don't know.
What do you think about Donald Trump, and what things do you know about him that? Sorry, start that question again. What I mean is, do you think Trump is against the occult? And if he is or not, what things do you know about the things your opinion about Trump that suggests he is or not? What's your answer to that?
Trump is definitely not a hero. At least he's not one of us. No one can be, really, because when you accrue a certain amount of influence or wealth, either way, both are valuable currency that is a threat against the elite. And they have all of the resources and manpower to destroy you, to blackmail you, take you out. There is no resistance, you know? Like, the only actual resistance is that with it in our heart and mind, you know? But then again, what we resist persists. So it's like, that's what I mean. There's just nowhere to run and hide. That's just more like, this is a recent shift in my perspective. You know, seeing more and more things play out. This is a recent shift where I'm like, there is nowhere to run and hide. Like, to me, the only thing anyone can do is try to really get smart to what's going on in the economy and figure out how to get as much resources as you can so that you can, protect yourself, basically, because that's going to be the only thing that can, in my opinion, is having a boatload of crypto or cash or something so you can buy land, you can, build a garden, you have your own weapons, livestock, the tools that you need, the technologies to be a creator, and tap into the internet from far. I don't know. I'm optimistic overall, but Trump, I definitely voted for Trump. I think, to get reelected, I don't think I voted the first time when he got elected. I didn't vote for anyone then, but I definitely voted for him to get reelected. And you can see that the presidential selection was in favor of a fall guy.
Oh, it was rigged. It was rigged. I mean, yeah. But a lot of elections have been rigged, like especially how Ron Paul, when he was running, the premier, and then he got robbed. And then in 2017, you had Bernie get robbed, and Tulsi Gabbard did. And it's like the 2000 election when George Bush got robbed. Election fraud's been happening for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. I got a question for you. A lot of people seem to say, with the left and the right, do you think that the left is a cult and the MAGA movement is a cult? Do you think it is?
Do I think it's a cult or a cult? A cult,
yeah. A cult, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's the cult. You think of the word culture, it gets thrown around so loosely, but it's a dangerous word because any ideology that's grooming a group of people to have a kind of culture is a cult. And to me, cults aren't all bad. I would.
Oh, it's true. How I believe it. When I say the MAGA movement is a cult and the liberal movement is a cult, it doesn't necessarily mean MAGA people are bad. I mean, I know a lot of MAGA people, very nice, very sweet people. It's the same thing of lefties. There's a lot of lefties and stuff. But unfortunately, nowadays, there's a lot of Republicans that aren't true Republicans, and there's a lot of lefties who aren't true liberties because the left, they've forgotten their mouths, they've forgotten what true liberalism is, and it's just like conservatism. People have just forgotten the true meaning of conservatism, Every group has nice people. It's just, unfortunately, some people just get a bit too carried away, and yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because community is everything. Like, otherwise we'd feel pretty alone. So, the key is balance, right? It's take a middle path. The middle path is not conforming to any single ideology or culture or cult, but rather to just be love and be yourself, because that's the ultimate way of being. It's the only way I know to realize our purpose in life, which is unique to every individual. Like, you're not gonna. A cult might help guide you, or being part of something will help lead you on the path, but at the end of the day, you have your own path. And it's really hard to stick to it. But doing so, life provides, the universe provides when you're on the right path.
That's pretty cool. That's really, really cool, I just thought to myself right now, imagine if they started a Pepe Party.
Good old Pepe.
Dude, I saw one meme the other night where he was basically like, it's a funny emoji with Pepe having a knife, and he says, "Keep away from me." It's quite funny.
Oh man, classic. Yeah.
So with the band thing, I listened to one of your songs, and what are you hoping to achieve with the music you do?
Oh, good question. At my first concert ever, it was Flogging Molly, punk rock show in New Jersey. And that day my life changed forever because I was just kind of starting a band. I was on the drums, a little punk rock band in high school. And I wasn't, sure the direction of my life at that point, like my purpose, all of that. I was still very young on the idea of being loved and being myself, but I was on track because I was a bit of a rebel. And at that show, when I saw sold out, just people hanging on every word, crowd surfing, mosh pits, a whole bunch of love. Music was great. I realized that that's what I was meant to do, because music is the most effective way to teach anything ever, especially when you combine original music with filmmaking. Then Hollywood or Helly Weird, Netflix, YouTube, nothing can compete. To like, well, they are competing. That is the competition. So for me, music, all of my music, it's all objective. None of it is like, I just need to get a song out, or this is just fun. Everything I write is meant to change the world. It's meant to change people's energy and their consciousness. And because I'm a good person, I know that I'm human. I'm Welsh, half Polish, half Irish. I know that. I trust.
Oh, you are Welsh. That's really cool.
Does that mean I'm Welsh? I don't know. I never did the DNA test. I just know I'm half Polish, half Irish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you guys get my point. Is music for me? It's objective. It's what I meant to do, because I'm a teacher for the Age of Aquarius, and for me to reach people, I have to meet them where they're at. And not everyone's going to sit down for a lecture. They're not going to sit down for a podcast, but they'll listen to a 3-minute song, right? And usually music, and all of Helly Weird knows this, like in their song production with backmasking, with using frequencies and vibrations to manipulate the mind. Like, they do all this stuff, right? But music in itself is generally very relaxing. It relaxes your body and mind. And when you study like accelerated learning techniques, like sometimes having classical music on in your headphones while reading or studying, it greatly enhances your ability to intake information, intake the messages, everything that you're observing in the moment. So music naturally does that. It breaks down that barrier of, oh, what is this? I don't want to read this or learn this thing. But they'll hear a beat, they'll hear the bass, they'll start moving. Next thing you know, the message comes in, And that's why most of the messages from the music industry are incredibly toxic, borderline demonic, So
yeah, the music nowadays is just, it's designed to be crap, especially when you look at modern culture. Modern culture and modern art is just crap. Like, it's not compared to the old art. That's why I like to listen to classical music rather than modern day music and like opera music and 1940s, 30s music, because it just gives me that vibe. And you look at the science, especially, I remember in Sherlock Holmes of Robert Downey Jr., and like how basically you had the flies, and like when he was playing the violin to them, the flies ended up going. Have you seen that movie with Robert Downey Jr., Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, they were going to be doing a third one, but I don't think the third one is going to be as good. Oh, they did. Did they do a third one? Oh, no, wait, I think it is coming out this year. Oh, wow. That would be pretty cool. But it was a good movie, So, you're a bit of a Bitcoin person. Can you give us any advice on how you should start with Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah. I mean, where do I start? So Bitcoin is the first iteration of a blockchain cryptocurrency. It came out in 2009, just towards the tail end of the 2008 financial crisis and the housing crisis, all of that. It's said to be created by an anonymous group or person called Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm skeptical of Bitcoin 100%. I just use it in my band logo, and I talk about it because Bitcoin is it's like the gateway drug to crypto. So it's kind of what gets people interested. It's familiar to them, But in terms of an investment vehicle, Bitcoin there's uncertainty. There's 3 different forks of Bitcoin: Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, Satoshi's Vision, and then Bitcoin in its original design. So all 3 of them have different use cases, and we don't know which one is going to win in the end. People believe it's the original Bitcoin. That's why the price is so high. But Bitcoin SV actually has more. It almost does more transactions than the entire blockchain industry as a whole. So it's more useful. It actually has utility, and Bitcoin has a lot of flaws. The biggest thing being privacy. So cryptocurrency, to me, is don't walk, like run, get involved. Don't jump in anything just yet. But the sooner you understand what's happening, which is this new technology for this age of Aquarius, is blockchain. It's going to change everything about the world. And it's absolutely part of the new financial system that is going to be ushered in, this central bank digital crypto or basket of cryptos that's coming. It's all going to be on the blockchain. And then you're going to see tons of regulation coming into the space, which is going to be like the dot-com boom all over again. It's going to wipe out thousands of crypto projects that get declared as this security. It's not. It's a scam. Whatever. And so there's a lot to say here, but I think it'd be very wise to be investing into crypto. If you follow me on wherever, just at BeLoveandBeYou, you'll see that I do weekly shows about crypto, and I go through all the charts, not just crypto, but the dollar, the indices, Dow Jones, S&P, everything. So we keep an eye on it. We look at what cryptos to invest in, not just for financial gain, but for fundamentals that align with your values of freedom and privacy. So it's, we're 10 years into this industry, but it's still the Wild West. There's still massive opportunity, and there won't be forever.
Fair enough. One big thing is that a lot of conspiracy theorists say, can the government stop Bitcoin? Can they put a dent onto it? What do you think of that? Like, can they permanently just go bang on the revolution of it?
Well, they can try. But Bitcoin is powered by the internet, and it's powered by data, servers, energy. So there's a lot of moving parts there that they could definitely try to regulate or enforce, But at the end of the day, the free market is going to decide, and the people want Bitcoin. And it shows. When $1 is worth 99 cents, but one Bitcoin is worth almost $30,000, the free market's already decided. And it's not just this mania of trying to get rich. Like, the more people hold it and grow with it, the more they understand why it's important. But it's a scary thought to think. Like the internet, my website, we don't really have control of anything when it comes to technology. It's all about who controls the servers, a bit like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud. These companies have massive server power, and that's going to be the currency of the future, and that governments can shut off. But I don't see them doing the internet kill switch. They might do like a cyber pandemic or something just to scare people for a little bit. But if they shut off the internet, then their agendas can't work out because they need internet everywhere. They need the 5G. They need cameras everywhere to surveil. They can't have their communistic social credit score system without cameras and internet everywhere. So they'll never fully turn off the power or the internet. Or they can't control the population.
I with the social credit score thing, I kind of feel like in a way that's going to fail because I understand they can do that, but also at the end of the day, I just don't know if countries like New Zealand are going to have the technology, because the one thing that economically could stop the social score is, the government, but I just don't know if there's going to be some countries that are going to be able to do it because they're just not going to have the money and the resource to do it.
Yeah, so they might be last, but the globalists, they'll make their rounds, they'll get to where they need to, but they're going to focus on the major cities and where there's greater populations and more threats.
Oh yeah, the major cities will pretty much, get
Mhm.
affected.
Yeah, the social credit score system.
Mate, sorry, I just need to get something. Just wait a minute. I'll
Sure.
be right back. Sorry about this. Hello, sorry.
All right,
I
we're
just need
back.
something. No worries. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like you were
just
saying, like the Age of Aquarius and stuff like that.
yeah. I guess with the social credit system, I had another thought about that. Um, you mentioned people like resisting it or not having it, and I think there's going to be a handful of people that, of course, will resist it, and it ain't gonna be having it. But that's accounted for. These the puppet masters, they know that. So like they're really gonna sweeten the pot. You know, they're burning down food factories, like regulating the shit out of stuff. Making up fake viruses to kill off chickens and deer farm. I mean, they're doing everything they can to back people up against the wall so far that they're willing to take the solution. It's called problem reaction solution. It's the problem, they're creating it. These food shortages. I mean, if that leads to famine, then here's a solution. Here's this one world central bank digital currency, and you're going to get $2,000 of it or whatever a month, and you're going to be okay. But you have to accept our social credit system. What do you think people are going to do? They're like, okay, yeah, sign where?
I don't think everybody's going to accept that because just don't think humanity's that stupid. There's a lot of people. I mean, some countries will, but some countries won't because some countries have different cultures.
I don't know. I sure hope so, man. I just have my doubts about humanity.
Oh, don't give up, mate. Don't give up. There's still hope. I think there's always a way. I think with the world, uniting more, with the Great Awakening happening and stuff like that, I think people were just fed up with the lies. They're done with it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the only people that are done with it are the boomers. Sorry for lack of better word, but it's the elderly who have worked their whole lives, given everything, already enjoyed the best decades of humanity, the 70s to 80s, all that, and yeah, they're fed up with this. They don't want to deal with it, but guess what? They're about to be wiped out from lethal injections or 5G, these new technologies and all this radiation. Like, not all wiped out, but I mean, they're just getting old too, and they're passing away. So they're the resistance. The youth of the world have been compromised. They've
Yeah, I
been
understand that.
indoctrinated and beaten down with sex and processed foods that just have diluted their ability to sense threats. To sense that we're being duped here. Let's uprise. Like there's potential, but I don't know. I think the resistance is it's few and far between, and the lack of critical thinking that was demonstrated during the lockdowns was really discouraging to me. Overall, and I still feel very isolated aside from like small groups of people that are privy to what's going on. But for the most part, people are just carrying on business as usual. Maybe with a chip in their shoulder, but whatever.
So yeah, when you were younger, what was your favorite punk rock to listen to?
There's a band called Against Me. They're from Gainesville, Florida. Since then, the singer has, come out as trans, and the band basically dismantled, and it's nowhere near what it used to be. But they definitely, they did it. They went from nothing to major label success. Just super loyal fan base. Up until that transition happened, it's very different now, but that was really cool to be a part of, see what was possible. Yeah.
Fair enough. Were you a fan of Blink-180? Were you a fan of Blink-182 back in the day?
Yeah. I being a '90s child and be a teen in the 2000s, all those pop punk bands, Sum 41, Blink-182, NoFX. All those bands were part of my life in a big way. Definitely a big influence. It's unfortunate, but I just don't have a whole lot of respect for almost everyone in the music industry. When the lockdowns came and the lethal injections were rolled out, they just lined up and they just were so vocal about everyone doing it, because it was very selfish to me. They just wanted to get back on the road. It was their income. Obviously, life was awesome. You were playing sold out shows on tour all the time. Yeah, I'd love to be doing that, but I would never compromise my integrity, my health, or anyone else's for my selfish needs. It was just despicable to me. And especially a band like Foo Fighters, where, their first show ever was Madison Square Garden coming back, and vaxxed fans only, of course, sold out, people just lined up for it. They totally took the bait on that. And then you have Taylor Hawkins that was found dead from heart complications, which really, none of that really started till after he got the lethal injection, and then got the all the boosters and stuff, of course, so they can tour and lead by example for their fans. So I don't know, man. It kind of puts me in a tough spot as a musician myself. For me to be in integrity, I'm going to have to turn down a lot of opportunities. And by even speaking about this, I'm rejecting the opportunities. Like, what band or label or agent is going to want to work with someone that doesn't want to play by these authoritarian rules,
Oh no, it's absolutely outrageous, dude. Like having these rules. What singer do you look up to?
One of my favorite singers, definitely Trevor Hall, and he's, in that new age spirituality realm. But he's just great. He's very wise, humble, talented dude, and he has stood true to his values as far as I've seen. He hasn't been vocal or preaching people to do things with their bodies, in a selfish way. So yeah, he's probably number one for me.
That sounds very cool.
Oh yeah.
When you go on stage, like when you're singing, how do you overcome the shyness?
That's a good question. I wish I had a good answer, because I don't get shy. I really never have. Some people, they're just some people are born to be on a stage, and others want to be, and they can make it happen, but they have to work at it. It doesn't mean you can't do it or aren't meant for it. But I was born to be on a stage, and for most of my life, I've never been given a stage. So it's been pretty challenging to know that that's where I need to be, performing, speaking, being seen and heard and felt and received, and not being given a stage. Has been really challenging for me but for anyone to overcome the shyness, I would say just get really clear about what it is you want to be on stage for. Because there's a difference between what you want to be on stage for and what you're meant to be on stage for. And I guarantee if you're in that middle path, you're being loved, being you, you're going to find yourself on a stage at the right place and time doing the right thing. And that shyness is you might be a little nervous because you want to get it right, but you're not going to be shy. You're going to be like, I was fucking born for this, or I'm ready for this, you know?
Sounds like a really cool feeling.
Yeah. I mean, the attention is nice. It's nice to have attention, you know, from beautiful women or, you know, guys that look up to the work that you do. They aspire to be like you. I mean, I've had that throughout my life, but never in a scale that I feel worthy of, you know, because I do enjoy that, but it's not why I do all this, you know. At the end of the day, it is to make a difference and because it's fun, but, you know.
That sounds really cool, dude. That's really awesome, man. When is your next concert?
Next concert is New Hampshire. What I've been doing for years now is performing at conferences, whether it's like high-level marketing events, entrepreneurship, you know, just cryptocurrency, especially freedom events. So this next one, it's called Porcupine Freedom Festival. It's in Lancaster, New Hampshire, June 20th.
God, these festivals come up with the most silly names. Like, wonder if there's going to be one called a banana festival.
Yeah, it's definitely, it can be silly. I threw my first festival, actually, the Aquarian Music and Art Festival in Orlando. That was on February 2nd of this year. And I like the name of that. You know, that was one of those examples where I had to, you know, if no one's going to give me a stage, well, damn it, I'm going to give myself one. And I did. It just, the turnout was not what it needed to be to change the world. But, you know, one step, one day at a time. But that's my next performance. I'll be there all week and hanging out, performing, all that. But that's kind of what I've been doing because I don't have a booking agent as of now. I wish I did. And these are the communities, like these are my tribe, you know, and there's not always a format for live music at these conferences, but I always seem to be there making something happen with whatever they got, you know, so.
Fair enough. That sounds really cool. What is some misconceptions people give to New Age stuff? Like, you got some people say New Age is satanic. What do you say towards that?
Great question. And it's one that I like to talk about because the New Age deception is something that the Christians of the world that are, I think, more aware of what's going on are aware of, and they're very preachy about it. Getting the word out, writing books, just attacking New Agers. And there's merit to it, you know. The New Age deception is real. They're the occultic masters of the world. They are occultic masters for a reason. They understand the laws of the universe. They understand the nature of the body, mind, and spirit. They understand time, like the ages, cycles, and they play all of that to our advantage. They know that the air age is a new age of Aquarius. This is an air age is it's airy. It's growth, exponential growth in technology, societal perceptions, and things that we do. So, you know, yoga, meditation, breath work, food healing, Qigong, all these things most of them are ancient techniques that actually work, you know. Like, it's real medicine that actually works for the mind, body, spirit connection, to heal yourself, to connect deeper with God and other people. So it's all good, but it's not all good at the same time, because then you've got this sect of the New Age, you know, which is basically a cult, just like any other religion or dogmatic ideology, and it is dangerous. Is it demonic in nature? I don't think so. There's been a lot of people connecting the dots saying that, this is satanic and that these angels are actually demons. Could be. I don't know. But like I said, when you take that middle path and you just be love and be you, then you're going to recognize that you actually feel really good after an hour of yoga. Like you just open your body up and you stretch and you oxygenate and you get blood flowing to your major organs. Your chakras open up, all of it. Like that's a good thing to do. When you do meditation, whether it's an active or just sitting there like this, you actually start to chill out, and things like shyness or anxiety or, oh, what am I going to do today? And who am I? Oh God, I need all this money. Those worries come to ease. And then real solutions and abundance starts to become apparent. That works. Qigong. Qigong is an ancient Chinese practice. It's one of my favorite. And that's just like basically opening yourself up and feeling energy around you and moving energy, right? Like the Qi ball, things like that.
It's funny when you see the people like practicing it like.
Yeah, I've been that guy. I've been that guy in the group of Qigong people just like moving all slowly and in the zone. And then like just people like walking by, drinking a beer or something, just like, because it's a totally different vibe, Both are good. It's good to drink a beer and let go. But when you're in the chi flow like that, words can't even explain how healing and just magical it is. So the middle path, be love, be you. You realize that these things are real. You find out what works for you, what doesn't. And the New Age deception and the preachy, know-it-all type of, those types are big in New Age, and I am not that. Thank God. Thank God I can look at that and see it. That like with a great awakening and this enlightenment comes this urge to share that knowledge and power with people, and it just comes off most of the time pretty either condescending or narcissistic or selfish or just weird. I don't know. So I wouldn't call all that satanic. I would just say that people are figuring out what's going on. They're figuring themselves out, and there's going to be growing pains. So why sit there and judge it, waste your time judging anyone else when you've got work to do?
What is the meaning behind your necklace?
This is a nuclear receptor. It was developed by Dr. Fred Bell. He is probably the greatest genius of our time, way beyond Einstein and all these other guys, in my opinion. He was taken out a little less than a decade ago. He done like some podcasts with Jesse Ventura. Must have really spilled the beans because they didn't want that getting out. And he was found dead in some apartment. Devastating because I like if he was alive, I would be like on a totally different path. Like I would be dedicating my life to being an apprentice or helping him out, working beside him because he understood quantum physics and mechanics, spirituality, the body mind spirit connection, all of it. Like he was a genius, and the government knew that, so they brought him in as like a young boy. Like like he had designed so many different things for the CIA and high level clearance type stuff, like extraterrestrial stuff. Like this here came to him from this is Palladian technology. Is what he said, that this basically came to him in a dream, this entire design.
Oh, that's creepy. It's like a trippy, like aliens did, like a thing in the past where they gave him a message, like they had a technology that could dream into the future. That was just creepy, man.
It's creepy. Yeah, he was a contactee for the Palladians, so he could actually contact extraterrestrials and get this information and guidance, and he'd give some to the government, of course, But the reason I wear this is because I think everyone should be wearing one. I wish they could, but they're so damn expensive. This nuclear receptor, let me put it up to the camera. The reason this is futuristic air age technology is because it is designed for energy to go through crystal, and you can see that this looks like a crop circle. It's got the pyramids on it, and this spins, right? Just like the chakras. Chakra just means spinning wheel. So energy within our torus field, it's all spinning. And so this works with the spinning energy that comes to the body, and it transmutes the energy before it gets into your chakras. So if there's anything that's disharmonic, for example, ELFs, EMFs that come from these 5G towers and stuff, it's gonna transmute it before it affects you. And if you get this in sterling silver, then that absorbs the most radiation. You just put it in a ultrasonic cleaner, shake off the dust, so to speak, and then put it back on. And so that's why I wear it. That's why I'm a big advocate for it. In fact, I even partnered with Pyridine.com. That's Dr. Fred Bell's company that he passed on to his daughter, Megan. And she's been doing an outstanding job keeping things going. But anyone can get 10% off any of the receptors using my band name as the coupon code. I'll get a little kickback for that, just saying, but at least it's some way to make it more affordable, because they're not cheap. It's like $1,500 for a sterling silver receptor, but I think everyone needs it because I don't think that there's actually an air virus. I think that this air age technology, the internet, the 5G, it's all affecting the human body. It's making us toxic. With radiation.
It is. It's definitely affecting the way we're growing, the way that we're accepting things. That's why people are very more negative.
Yeah, it produces flu-like symptoms, like what radiation poisoning. That's what it does, and so that's what we're seeing, and I've had these flu-like symptoms big time. I just got over it like last week again. It's like, damn, but that's because this ain't sterling silver, man. It's just cast bronze.
Fair enough. So, is there anything else you would like to say?
All right. Yeah, you're right. We're kind of at the top of the hour, just about here. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, right now is it's important to be more vigilant than ever, because the end of this year is I think the world's gonna look very different. Q4 of 2022. It happens to line up with I don't want to say it's like a Jewish holiday called Shemitah. So you guys should look that up, Shemitah. And it basically is like, I don't know, every 7 years they do this reset or debt jubilee type of thing. It's completely aligned with the Great Reset and all the plans that are going down. Try to get back into focus here. Yeah. So there we go. So you guys should check that out, because the end of the year is, I think, we're going to start seeing a more policy and moves in the direction of a central bank digital currency, a new money system. And
I think I kind of disagree with that, because I think we're going to see humanity wake up. I think there's going to be a crack that's going to happen.
Yeah, but I hope so. But the existing money system it doesn't work.
The money system's going to collapse, whether you like it or not. We're living in a new world, the Industrial Revolution. Every era had its fall, every era had its king, and empires fall. A new age begins.
Yeah, exactly. And this is commonplace for the transition into an age. Is you see this kind of collapse, or and then rebuilding. It's pretty common, and it's playing out. But do you see what I'm saying though? Like the money system is, whatever is playing out is gonna, I think, come to a head by the end of this year. Just taking a look at all the charts, the indices, the dollar, the DXY, dollar index. I mean, all of it is just. I pull some charts up now, but I'd say just check out my weekly calls every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and you'll see, you know.
No worries,
Uh,
dude.
so yeah, just keep an eye on that. I'd say protect whatever resources that you have and try to grow them as fast as you can, and get your preparations in order because we haven't seen anything.
Anyways, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at BeLoveAndBeYou. It's the same username on all platforms. I'm on every platform. I've locked it in. Most of the time, I'm using Instagram or Telegram and Facebook, so you can find me there. But ultimately, you're definitely going to want to check out either BeLoveAndBeYou.com or ageofaquarius.org. You guys can join my mailing list there. It's one of the best ways to keep in touch with me and to follow the work that's to come, because I always do the best that I can and just share what I think is coming and how I can help,
There we go. Well, thank you for coming on my show, Matt Welsh. It was a pleasure to have you. And I just want to say to everyone, I hope you guys all have a fantastic day and God bless you. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Take care.